Welcome back. Welcome back. Episode 9. Don't Be Pressed podcast. We are not pressed. Not pressed. In case you knew. In case you didn't know, shop don'tbepressedpodcast.com.
In case you didn't know, I ain't pressed.
She ain't pressed. She ain't
I,
pressed.
I, especially in my gear, I walk around. People are like, what does that mean? I ain't worried,
Nope.
stressed,
Nope.
or pressed about it. You feel me?
Not at all. Ladies. We're not pressed.
Yo, I wonder what the listeners would think if we made a shirt that was defining pressed, like pressed
Pressed.
in the I should know this, but in the
Like the phonetic.
yes, in the phonetic transcription with the definition.
Let us know. New merch coming? Is that what's happening? Let us know down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube, and give us 5 stars, subscribe, rate, comment on any streaming platform, all the things. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Definition in the front. Something I ain't in the back.
That's dope.
But yeah, follow us on all the things at Don't Be Pressed Now. Welcome to another episode of the Don't Be Pressed podcast. You're in with Devin and Morgan, Chuckles and Slim. Y'all know what it is. Usually, if you just listen to us for the first time, we do a better synopsis of introducing ourselves first, then get into it. But sometimes things just fall off the cuff. So that's where we are with it right now.
Welcome. If you're new, subscribe.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe to our email list as well. Don't forget that, because with our email list, we talk about things like what we're going to talk about today, like how to own your mental health struggle, right? How can we actually celebrate Black History Month in more ways than just posting pictures of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, and who were other people that were involved in the civil rights movements and just Black history.
Black inventors in general were
exactly. So that we only send you one email a week. We don't bombard you, like Devin loves to say. And we're not I would say that we're not overdoing trying to sell you anything. Like everything that we sell, we just feel like it's to help you own these stigmas that we're talking about. Stigmas being dark marks or blasphemous things that don't really fit in with what society says, but all of these things make us unique to who we are.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about we talked about mental health last week, and we talked about mental health in our first week. And this week we're going to take a specific look at depression, which if you listen to the podcast, you know that's something that I struggle with. And, so that's something that I'm learning to own and owning it in different ways at different times and the different waves that it comes. So we're all about that.
Transparency over here.
But instead of me talking about my experiences, although I have plenty, we thought it'd be a great idea to bring on someone else who can speak to what depression looks like in their lives. Because y'all don't just want to hear from me, and we don't always want to hear from an expert. We sometimes also want to hear from other people who are going through what we're going through, and we know that our podcast is geared towards young women, but it is not lost on us that young men go through this as well, old men as well. And so our guest today is going to help us hit those intersectionalities.
Yeah. So grab a snack, settle in.
Don't touch that app.
And don't touch that app. We're going to slide into this break and we'll be back.
If the pandemic didn't already teach you this, then we are about to remind you again. Small businesses are everything. And every season, we look forward to promoting new small businesses that we come across that we feel our listeners will love. If you'd like to sign up to be featured during one of our ad spots, and you have a small business, podcast, beats, makeup line, beauty line, anything, then head over to our website to sign up. We love to promote you.
Welcome back, Diamond Club. Welcome back. We have a guest. I've known Devin Adams. Devin Antoine Adams is our guest today. I've known him for, I think, like almost 8 years. 7 years?
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, I know. It's been a very long time. And he has a great name, so I had to be friends with him.
Not a great name.
But Dev is a mentor, personal trainer, coach, podcast co-host, business owner. He's co-founder of the Instant Grits podcast, which we've talked about. He is the founder of Determined Athletes. He was ranked like the #1 physical trainer in like the area. You know, no big deal, just casual flex. He is the founder of Apex Strategic Planning and Determined Athletes Marketing Consulting. Is that it? Did I miss anything?
At GWP Consultant, where we do
Yeah.
No, but we're doing, credit repair, credit tips, credit multipliers, business education. So that's going pretty well too.
Oh, we're going to have to link on several fronts.
Yeah. I have a meeting after this for that. So yeah, but Devin, that was a great introduction. I appreciate it.
No problem. Welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yes, we're so glad to have you. So this episode, as Dev already knows and the audience knows, we are talking about depression. So Dev, could you, if you're comfortable, share like what your experience with depression look like, especially with you being as involved in so wearing so many different hats? Like, what does that look like? Even though you can wear these hats, what does depression look like for you?
So it's so funny you said that, Morgan, and I didn't know you was going to hit me right in the face like that. Well, you did off air, but without that being said, you said wear so many hats, right? But guess what I found out right when you said that my hats are my distraction to suppress my depression. So unless I'm busy doing something, that's when my mind starts to get messed up. That's when I start to get really uncomfortable. And I guess I would call it depression. I was recently diagnosed with manic bipolar disorder and anxiety and insomnia all at the same time, going through all these testings. But it stemmed back in October when I was depressed. The stimulation from COVID, the people we saw getting killed on TV, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all might know a little bit more about this than I do, but it's external things can lead to depression as well as internal chemical imbalances and stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Morgan. So, with all that being said, I got bushwhacked and smacked. I took 4 months off from school. I had to do a whole reset. So when Devin approached me about this topic, I was like, oh, I definitely know about it, and I can admit that I think a lot of us have things we just don't know, and I think a lot of us have things that aren't diagnosed, and I think depression might be one of the main things I think we all struggle with.
Did you have like a difficult time accepting your diagnosis? Because of how, like, because you're like one of those people, like a self-starter, like you try to control what you can control, and so you're like, no, I don't have it, I'm good. Did you experience that?
Absolutely. I'm still struggling with it now. I had like my parents are really involved now, so that helps with that whole depression thing. But even my psychiatric team is like, yo, when you accept it, that's when you'll be able to actually make some changes, because I'm still struggling with it now because of what you said. I'm busy. They even told me this, Morgan, that because I did my gratitude walks, because I meditated so much, I was actually probably surviving the depression when I was doing those things. And when I got off that routine, that's when the depression, that's when the anxiety, that's when the bipolar thing that's been misdiagnosed my entire life, lava flowed directly out of his channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, I know exactly what you mean, because I'm one of those people, like, I like to stay busy. If I'm not busy, then I know I'm going to be in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm not effective right now. And if I'm not effective, what good am I to the people around me, which is my biggest thing. Like, I want to be effective to the people around me, be a resource. And so if I can't do those things, if I'm not bettering myself in some way, there is a wave of depression. Mine also is more common. I've moved to the South because the North is too many dark months for me. So when you talked about outside stimulus, I can't really be in an environment that's 8 months out of the year in Detroit, Devin, like that's winter. I can't do that.
Yeah, y'all Detroit youngins, my bad.
Cold and dark at like 3:34.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
All the time?
Like just like what is that, like October-ish through March?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, easily early April.
Yeah.
So would you categorize that seasonal depression is high there, you think?
Yes, I definitely think that. Yeah, because people that I even went to school with and everything, it was just so normalized for us to be, when you in college, in your dorm, but it was so normalized for us to just be in our dorms and not outside. And I come down here, I'm in Louisiana now, and everybody does stuff outside. And you don't understand how important the vitamin D is to your mental health, because you're just like, oh, it's just a physical thing. And Black people specifically, we hate to sweat. Stereotypically, right? We hate to sweat. So I don't want to be in that sun. I'm gonna go inside, or I want to be in the shade. You need that sun. You need it.
Yes, I agree completely with that. No, you're right. But go ahead. I'll finish out. I don't want to cut you off.
I definitely also started taking vitamin D supplements also as a thing lately, because I realized that like when my anxiety stems off into like, I don't think I have depression, but I have like depressive like moments where it'll be 2-3 weeks where I'm not motivated. I don't want to do anything. It's hard for me to be motivated to get out of the bed. That's like after I don't have vitamin D or have not gotten sun.
Mm-hmm.
So just to add on to what you said. But sorry, keep going.
That's crazy. Would you say like when it hit full force this time, had you ever experienced anything, do you feel like in your childhood, like now that you know what it is, you're like, oh, I had those moments as a kid too?
Oh yeah. Now that I think about it, now that you get all the tests and evaluations and you talk to your parents I was always chill, but I could snap really fast. So I would get in a couple of fights, like a few too many when I was younger. People said I had an attitude problem. But like I say, growing up, Morgan and Deb, I was always in routines. I was practicing my saxophone, going to practice of some sort, doing my homework, taking my behind to sleep. That was it, right?
Right, man.
So that's why I was safe. But what'd you say, Deb?
Oh, I said you're busy constantly.
Yeah, but it's like I say, military family, routines. I just love routines, I guess, apparently. And
both of your parents are in the military?
My pop is a Marine.
Yeah, you got it bad.
Yeah.
He did a good job though. He did good keeping it under control. But sometimes people like, yo, Dev, why is the spoon right here? I'm like, what? I told you to take this effing spoon downstairs. Like, I tell you what, if you don't take this effing, I'm like, God, this is a effing spoon. But anyway,
it's a spoon, bro. It's not that deep.
My bad on the spoon type time, Dad. But he greatest parents in the world. But but they all said in college, that's when I did my evaluations, that's when stuff just started to go AWOL with some post-traumatic stress stuff that I suffered with, a couple of surgeries, some racism stuff, and all that. I was still fighting people. I was attacking people in college, which is absurd because everybody says like I'm a nice guy, which I am.
You seem like a nice guy.
Yeah, I am a real nice guy. And that's why I'm actually happy, because people, I'm like, yo, we can all fluctuate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was really unstable then.
Yeah. What do you tell your mentees, right? The people who are following you day to day, learning from you, learning from your coaching, learning from your podcast. What do you tell them about depression? Like, what do you even talk about with them?
And like, do you see it in them?
You know what? I got off the phone this morning with a husband who's going through it, with his depression, with a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So I always tell everybody now, I'm just obsessed with environment and community. You can control your environment. You can like some smells. You can walk out of a place you are, because your environment will control you before you can control it most of the time. Mm-hmm. AKA, that's why Morgan left. I'm out of here. Boom. No environment can change. But I'm a really, really big fan, y'all, of community. The fact that my man could call me up and let me know, yo, Dev, this is what's going on. The fact that I can go to 3 or 4 of my guys who are older than me, and I can be like, look, I'm struggling here. Community is everything to me personally. So if they have a community where they can talk and express some of these feelings, I think that's step one. And then you can tell them, hey, you know what? Maybe you might want to talk, get some therapy. And then maybe they can tell you why they don't do therapy or what they have problems with. But I think community is important. I would love to hear what y'all have to say, because I don't think there's no wrong answer. That's just why I'm focusing on our community.
I think I feel like you summing it up in community is great for me, because I feel like so much of the stigma is I'm afraid to tell somebody that I'm weak in this way, mm-hmm. right? Or like that I'm struggling in this way, because then it's going to be like, oh, why are you depressed? You know, what's going on? You have this these anxious moments about all these things that people are going to say. And what you're saying is you have a safe space for individuals to come to you and talk about things, which I think is even more dope and more important being a Black male, that these other males are coming to you saying, that's substantial, man. Like, I just want to take a second. Like, that's crazy because.
You know what, Morgan, real quick? I want you to say something about this too. You too, Dev. I have a community of men that I can go talk to, but we're not even just talking about it. We're talking about what it's like to be a male leadership, and even led by spirituality, led by God. Because that's a whole nother topic that gets swept, that we don't even talk about. What's hard being a Black man, it's hard being a Black woman, but it's also hard being led by God and dealing with those visions, those thoughts, those prayers that, that's a whole nother topic that I can get swept under the rug. But go ahead, continue.
Because everybody doesn't know what it's like, right? And they're not gonna understand what it's like when you have this weight on you that's attached to the people that you're leading, or this mission that you want to accomplish. And so all I was saying was that I think that it's great that these Black men have this safe space to come to and just speak on these things, because stereotypically, once again, men don't like to discuss their feelings. Right, Black people in general goes on in the house, stays in the house. Yeah. We're not going to be weak. We're going to raise strong Black women. Because we come from strong Black women. So I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Devin, I've taken over most of the interview time.
No, you're good. It just has me thinking about how we're so often throwing around the word like, I'm depressed, I feel depressed, when it's just. It like desensitizes the like heavy weight that the word actually holds and the meaning that it actually holds. So then when we get older and somebody says I have depression, then we don't take it as seriously, because all our life we weren't taught, like when we were younger, when people were just saying that in school or in passing, or because they lost a game or something, that they were depressed. And it's just like, okay, well, you'll get over it. When like truly the chemical imbalances, you can, like I say this every episode, we talk about mental health. It's just like a heart attack or a stroke. Like you cannot tell your body to just stop, and you cannot just say like, okay, stop having a heart attack. It's the same thing. So yeah. I also want to talk about, because when you mentioned God, we mentioned this briefly in a previous episode, but what do you think about the phrase like praying it away?
Oh,
yeah, that's a good question.
Praying it away.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared, Dev. I thought about this. But actually, I think praying something away is a great step to recognize you're not in control. However, I do feel that praying it away makes it automatically, when I hear it, ties me to the old church where they had nothing else to go by and live off of. So they prayed to God to solve all their problems. That slavery prayer, that slavery notion. So now when I hear pray it away, I'm like, we have everything at our fingertips. Why don't you pray for direction and don't be scared of what you receive back? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think the pray it away is a little sensitive for me, just because I've been to a lot of churches, and I love church. But sometimes it's just like, is it a slave mentality in the church? Are we singing the right way in the church? Are we praying to God for certain things in the right way in the church? We're not in slavery anymore. Well, technically. But we're not being whipped and lynched and all this right now. Right. We have everything at our fingertips right now. So you pray it away? Okay, I tell you what. Why don't you just pray first, and then are you ready to listen though?
Yeah. I
think it's tricky. I think it's a vague, very broad, simple sentence. But I'm curious to see what y'all think about that.
I think that for me, I think that it's an interesting question, because so many people, I feel like, also get caught up in, well, I don't want anybody else to know my business. Okay. What are you scared of? What are you scared of them finding out? And if you truly believe in God the way that you say you do, if your spiritual sense is where it is, then you have to trust and believe that God's not going to bring anybody into your life to deal with such a massive issue that's going to be negative for you.
Right.
And also, they don't really have that much time. Like they got too many other mentally ill patients to really be like focused in on like your specific trauma to use it against you.
So what was the line again, Dev? You said
praying it away, or pray it away.
Praying it away. It takes work. Prayer, you got to move with your feet. You got to move. You can't pray and have your feet not moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like the more knowledge you have about what you have, and like the more accepting others around you are of depression, anxiety disorder, whatever it may be, you know what to pray for. Like you could pray for like control of your body in a triggering situation, or you could pray for like a support group that you need to go to help you talk about it. That's like, outside your therapist and family, like just somewhere, because if you don't live by them or something, like knowing what to, or just like, what do I need, and figuring out what is the trigger.
Yep.
Like Morgan, like, okay, seasonal depression. I live in the north where it's brick cold. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Brick cold.
Brick cold.
Yo,
I ain't never heard brick cold before. That's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, don't y'all say brick up there in the Northeast? I've first heard that from New York.
I heard that from New York. They say it's brick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from DC, so I never heard no brick cold. What'd you say?
I said, how you get to Philly?
I just came here with grad school. Just stayed up here.
Oh, okay. Where you go to grad school?
Oh, Drexel.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, wasting my money, man. Go right. Wasting my money. But praying in a way, yeah, I think so, Dev. I agree with you completely, especially when it comes to knowing what to pray for. I'm like, okay, I'm going through this, so when I'm praying, let me make sure I can recognize certain things. I think praying for recognition is something we don't do enough of as well.
Yeah. And
so,
then understanding, some people, like not knowing that they have something.
Yeah, like just being more self-aware. Self-awareness solves pretty much a lot of stuff.
It does. Asking for wisdom and self-awareness is a beautiful thing.
I like to talk about like the fact that faith without works is dead. Like when having these conversations, because you can have all the faith in it. Well, what work are you putting behind it?
I agree.
Yeah, because what if he's giving you all the tools? What do they say? Giving you all the ingredients to bake the cake. You can't just do the cake. It's not going to bake itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because there might be something that you need to learn in order to bake that. Who knows? You could be having a baking company, but you're never going to learn, so you're never going to be good at it.
Ah, true. Yeah, you're right.
Why would God give us all this science and all this knowledge to not use it to help us better ourselves? So it's just theories that he just wants to sit on a shelf?
That's a good point. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Because he wouldn't. We know that he wouldn't. Like we know that he gave it to us for a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also feel like you can't pick and choose what you want to believe when it's most convenient, or like you can't pick and choose science. Okay, science works here when they talk about cancer. Like, okay, I'm going to take that science seriously, but the same science that's in a different part of the body in a different chemical imbalance, I'm not going to take that seriously. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
No, that's fine. It's science and God is under no obligation to make sense to everybody. It's just something that you turn to when you need it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Like I've been doing a lot of thinking about science and God, and we'll talk about that later. But science is in no obligation to make any sense to you. That's why we don't know anything about it. We know like 1%. I think they compared it to us being like I don't even want to talk about it. Actually, I do want to mention it. I think they said we're like equivalent to like a 2-year-old ape when it comes to what we actually know about some types of science and astronaut. So I mean, like the ego we have is crazy. You know what I mean? So why don't we pray? Why don't we pray some more? Yeah. I'll leave it there. Let's pray.
You have, I guess, how do I say it? I don't want to say words of advice. So I guess words of wisdom for anybody who might be struggling with depression, maybe in like the early stages, or has it now and is in a similar boat to you where they're trying to come to like acceptance of what they're diagnosed with.
That's a tough one because I've had 3 of my people I went to school with, and I consider them friends, commit suicide, right, on Facebook. And when they went live on Facebook and did this, they were running off hours of pain and issues that were back in college, back when they were 7 and 9 and all this, right before they did some of these things on screen. So all I'm saying is if you have any type of issue, or if something's bothering you, or you just feel you can't just shake something off, go I would say talk to somebody you can trust first. Obviously, I couldn't talk to my parents about this at first because they didn't understand it. I had to go to a doctor, and then the doctor sat my parents down and said, look, this dude is going through some stuff right now. So I'm not going to say necessarily, because we're not qualified, right? But I will say take some time, write some of this stuff down, pray for guidance. Maybe if you have a close friend that you can sit down and speak to, feel free. If they have groups and support groups, I already told you, that's been keen for me as well. And if you do need professional help, just go get it, because we all need therapy. Black people have needed therapy since we've been born. We're born into stress. Like, let's not even get it twisted. So that's my 2 cents. Hopefully I didn't ramble too long about that question, Dev, but
No, that was perfect.
find a friend, write some stuff down, think, pray, and if you need some professional help, take that step, because we all need it.
Yeah.
On that stigma.
On the stigma. Well, Dev.
Wait, what did y'all just say?
On the stigma.
Oh, okay. I thought you was like a chant of no.
You know what?
I was like, what? Wait, what? That went right by me. Go ahead. Own the stigma. Got you. Boom. I'm back. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're good.
We gotta get him on every season.
Own the stigma. Own the stigma.
On the stigma. Deb, can you please let the people know where they can find you?
Right now, you can find me on dainspires.com. We just relaunched that site, so that was fun. You can find me on damarketingconsultant.com if you need some marketing help. You can find me on Instagram, Devin A. Adams, or DA Marketing Consultant on there too. Hey, it's a dog.
Yeah, she's excited. She
want
wants
some
to hear your voice.
Yeah, that's right. That's what's up. I like dogs. But yeah, man, anybody, just reach out. We have plenty of groups. We have GWP Consultant Group, where we have a meeting right here after this. We're going to have a meetup at 30th and Walnut. It's going to be like 9 to 10 of us there. So, like I said, reach out. Everybody's here to help. Join this group. Reach out to Dev. Reach out to Morgan. Hey, yo, we all need help. Let's make some moves.
Yes, and I'm going to link
Check this man out, please.
Yeah, check him out. Follow all the things. We'll have everything linked below, for sure.
I'll follow all the things. Follow all the things.
How we just slide right on by that.
That's fine.
And that is the end of today's episode. I just wanted a sip.
A sip.
Okay, between you and Kevin talking about how I say clip and sip.
Clip. And sip.
He is from the South. I can't help it.
But you're not. So make it make
Raised by them. Yeah.
No, you were raised in Country Day, Michigan. Around you have more.
No, I'm saying my mom's from the South and my dad's from the South.
Stop.
Who else is gonna raise me? Anyways, thank you for coming to another Don't Be Pressed podcast episode. We're glad you're here.
I'm really glad that we did this.
If you are in a situation and you don't know where to start, or you feel like nobody's listening, nobody will understand, you can definitely reach out to us. And I know you can definitely reach out to Dev. I'll, again, link all his stuff down below, just so you can be around people who will support you in the way that you need. You can contact us. We will not reveal any information. We can just have a conversation over email. We can talk. We can chat. That's why we're here. So yeah, that is the end of today's episode. Make sure to send in all the things that you're pressed about so we can talk about it next week. Again, if you want to be anonymous, we will do that.
And go to our website and buy our fall merch. We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, don't be pressed.
Press.
Deuces.
Bye.